evening and welcome to Inner Space and welcome to those watching us online. Our theme this evening is power, focus. And we have Sister Rekha with us, and Sister Rekha has been meditating from a teenage age, and from having an IT background as a profession, very gentle, sincere, graceful, very efficient. Wherever she takes it on, she makes sure she sees it through. So without the further ado, I'd like Rekha to come and share her thoughts about the theme.
Good evening, everyone. It's lovely to be here this evening to share and explore on this topic, the power of focus. So maybe just let's start with a minute of silence so we can just become present. Thank you. So it's a lovely topic, the power of focus, and particularly in this age of so much of multitasking and distractions, how much we actually use the power of focus. We perhaps understand the benefits of it. I'm not so sure about this particular generation that's just been the last maybe in their teens or in their 20s, a younger generation. I'm not sure how much they understand or even appreciate the power of focus, but definitely the ones a little bit before generations, we have seen the benefit of focus, haven't we? But even today, looking at the different attention spans is very less, right? Especially when you have your devices. The advertisement has to say, wait, don't scroll. Because we are so distracted to go to the next thing. I remember the days when, whether in television or whether we were listening to the radios, we just had one channel. That's it. We didn't have like numerous channels to move through. So in fact, the system and the society was encouraging us to focus. And that actually gave us a lot of benefit. But today, in this age and day of multitasking and going from one thing to the other very quickly, what happens is somehow it's depleting the mental strength and the energy, isn't it? If just look at what are the benefits of focus, and I was just thinking, just even on an external level, when you're focusing on something, you're able to finish it, complete it, isn't it? Otherwise, there's one thing that's half done and then another thing that's half done. And for me, I was thinking about, those who wear glasses, about the focus. When it's blurry and when it's focused, then you can see there is clarity, isn't it? And so many, many benefits of the power of focus. looking at whether it's completing a task, whether it's doing it on time, not procrastinating, and then efficient. And more importantly, I was thinking when you're focused on something, you're giving your full energy and also perhaps able to see your intention behind that, right? If you're going from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, what is my intention for any of those? Maybe in my mind, I'm just thinking, I have to finish this, and I have to finish this, and I have to finish this, going from one thing to the other. And so I'm missing out on something very key for that particular task is my intention. I'm thinking you all been coming here for a while, right? I think most of you have been coming here for a while. I think the ones watching online also. So I'm just going into some, spiritual and deeper aspects of this and not just superficial, because we understand superficially on an external level how much focus helps. We know that, right? Whether it's taking cleaning or cooking or, a project that you want to finish, definitely focus is hugely beneficial. But we're also looking at perhaps a little bit deeper into this aspect of what happens when I actually focus on something, a task. And here, this is what we're talking about. I'm able to notice what is my intention behind it. And that intention is going to help not only shape what I am performing, but also the return that it brings is based on my intention, right? So, okay. Where is my focus when I'm listening to something? Say for like now, you were listening. Is my attention fully here? What's happened to our attention span? It's amazing, isn't it? Here I am physically sitting, and I've come here especially to listen to something. I mean, happens to all of us. I'm just taking it as an example because it's practical. But why is my mind traveling to different places? It's only because we've lost the habit. And we've allowed our minds to go to here, there, isn't it? It's a wonderful capacity, potential of the mind to be able to travel, definitely past, present, future, and it gives us that experiences. But when I want my mind to focus, still it kind of goes from one to another, to another, to another. And so it's just simply we've lost the habit, It's like we have allowed our mind to just be wherever. And so now, in fact, in meditation, if you have practiced a little bit, then you would know that this is what we are getting our mind to start to focus little by little. And so it increases that concentration. Because then I'm actually be able to be a master of it, whatever I'm doing. Apparently, I was just looking up on the internet, and there is even a book called The Power of Focus. And they talk about many aspects, prioritizing and time management and taking care of yourself, your well-being, so then you're able to focus. Otherwise, your mind is drawn to things. But I was thinking simply that when my mind is nourished with the right kind of thinking, with the right kind of food, then I'm able to focus, isn't it? Otherwise, it could be that I have 10 things to do, and instead of me focusing on this one thing, something else is already pulling me, trying to finish that. So on a practical level, definitely even today, and I do it many days, is most days actually, what am I going to be doing today? I'm sure many of you do that too. And really to perhaps even write and keep that in my mind, because then it frees my mind for storing a lot of things. You know, today we kind of give tension to the mind or stress to the mind by wanting to keep a lot of information. But if I'm able to say, okay, this is the things I'm going to do, this is my to-do list for today, I may not be able to finish everything, but I have prioritized, I'll be doing this. Okay, things might change a little bit going about the day, but still more or less it's organized, you know? And definitely organizing helps me to focus, isn't it? Like, you know that I have to do this, okay, then I don't need to think about it. You know, so much one is on an internal level, we'll go into that in a little bit. Definitely the power of focus, concentration, and we'll go into the benefits of that. But on an external level, we are so much making sure that our thoughts are not going into ordinary or waste. You know, when we came, you know, we were really trained even as young, the youth groups and the younger generation. If you take something from somewhere, just put it back, very simply. And so that you are not having to have an extra thought about next time when you're looking for it. Another person is not having to waste their thoughts to see. You know, so taking care of my mind helps my mind to focus. So imagine if I have to think this, then the focus is gone, isn't it? Here I am wanting to do this task. Okay, I've made up my mind, I'm going to do this. And then suddenly I find the things that I need for it is either disappeared or just is not available, or even though I had planned it, it's gone, isn't it? So organizing and a level of discipline in my life definitely helps our focus. You agree? Because I'm thinking it's maybe a little bit, teeny bit strenuous if I'm not going to be a little disciplined in my life. You know, if I'm all over the place, it's hard to focus, because in here also I'll be all over the place, isn't it? So not in so much of detail, which you can if you are interested in that, but at least on a certain level, I need to have things organized. Now, I remember when I was very young, and I used to come home from work very late, and the lights would already be off in the room, and I was staying with someone else, and they would go to bed. So I would keep my cupboard so organized that if I reach my hand out for something, I will actually find it in the dark, you see? And so this is, I think, an art of taking care of my mind. So I don't have to think too much about anything. And the more I practice that, you know, and the more I will be able to focus my mind on the things I need to focus on. Otherwise, it's just going to go on unnecessary things, isn't it? Like, this is why it's nice to have something like we always, in our home, even today, we've kind of have this policy that if the petrol in the cars are going, are just at half, we fill it up. So we're not letting it go unless some unforeseen situations, but if not, we have a thing that we will fill it up when it's in half. So whoever is there will fill it up. So we're not having to think and overthink, oh, it's going to reserve, and if am I going to get any petrol station open at this time of the day, or the next day somebody needs to travel far and it's not, you see? So there is a margin. There's a margin for any last minute thing that happens. But this is the world we are living in. And I'm even thinking how, if we don't have a little bit of discipline or organizing in our lives, how can we get our mind to focus? Isn't it? Of course, things are going to happen last minute, definitely. I mean, I know many days I would plan something and get to the center and then find that the day is completely different to what I planned. But that's okay. But at least there was some sort of a plan in the head. And so I'm thinking that we need to have, if I need to take care of my mind, this is essential. Yeah? Is it true? Can you see where it's going? And so organizing and some sort of discipline. Of course, we might live in a place where people are completely different, which truly somebody's nodding their head. And so, not really follow exactly what you want to, but at least from your end, you can make sure that things are fine. And so that's one aspect on an external level, definitely organizing and discipline. But also looking at taking care of my mind, the energy of my mind. Again, if I need to focus, it needs to have clean and pure thinking. If I'm going to store a lot of negative thinking, or I'm going to take in, say I might not create negativity as such inside, but there are things happening outside, I kind of get influenced and I take it and I create inside, then that is also a big obstacle for focusing. Somehow the energy of the mind stays here and I'm not able to get my mind to focus on something. Have you noticed that? Sometimes when something happened, people said something or you heard something, and that's kind of occupied your mind, that you're not able to get the mind to focus on something that you want to. Right? That happens, no? And so very important to keep my mind clean, and I will even add happy, because that is important for focusing. So what does it take to do that? We are living in a world, I'm going to be hearing negative stuff, I'm going to be in the midst of maybe negativity, but learning to protect myself. Of course, meditation helps, taking that power, taking that strength. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But also, not going into too much which is not necessary for me. No? Sometimes, yes, you do need to know the news, you do need to know a little bit. But, there is also an urge inside to get to know more, to get to know more and more. And there's so much negativity. Am I wiser coming out of that? I knew a little more about what happened, but what did that do to me? It's too negative. And that, in that sense, I'm not able to even get myself out or able to help anyone. And my day then becomes very not controlled. So really able to protect myself and get to know whatever you need to know, but not going too much into it. And keeping my thoughts really clean, pure, and simple. Often I've seen that when there's too much complexity and too much also focusing is hard. Keeping life simple is always easier to focus. And so taking care of my mind in all these different ways is going to help. I'm going to talk about now a little bit on what happens when I focus on my own self. Well, that is meditation. The start of meditation is really taking the focus from everywhere else and going in, focusing on myself without any distractions. That is what we learn, the starting steps of meditation. Why is that important? And when we talk about myself here, you've been here for a little while, so you know we're talking about not just this physical body and the roles and the relationships connected to that, but we're talking about the spiritual being within. And when I focus on myself, then I'm able to focus or go deeper and experience my true qualities, and which is what I really want. You know, most often, what we're doing outside is to experience love, peace, happiness, isn't it? Why we're doing what we're doing, right? If you go why, finally it comes to love, peace, and happiness, anything. And so this aspect of my mind focusing on myself, that being of light, I'm able to experience that true peace, that true love, that true happiness within me. And this again helps me to express that in whatever I'm doing. And so when I'm able to make that focus happen, then the external focus also becomes more easier because I now have control over myself. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So because, you know, it's like when I focus on myself, what's happening there is I'm allowing my inner potential to emerge. And then I'm able to use that in everything that I do. So it's so key to do this every single day. To start with, even to focus on my true self. And then what happens is you will see magic. Because then you will start to feel control, that mastery, the self-mastery. And then the other focus is focusing on the Supreme. The Supreme, here we call God, the Source, Divine, the Supreme Light. Now this is also a very key aspect. Because sometimes, you know, we say the soul is like a battery, and so the battery is discharged and I need to recharge myself. And then I need to connect to the source of power. And this focus really helps to strengthen myself. It's really the power. It is the power, the strength, that focus. Because you see, anything you focus on, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, you start to absorb a little of it. Yes? Have you noticed that? You know, say for example, you're very much interested in a movie or watching something, you're kind of completely engrossed in it. So you start to absorb the vibrations, absorb the atmosphere of that into you, isn't it? That's one of the key power of focus. I get influenced and I get absorbed. And so focusing my mind on the supreme light, the supreme power, the source of goodness, then I absorb that power, those qualities within me. You know, we often have this picture in our meditation courses, and we talk about this, like, how is this work is, you know, like how you hold the lens, the sunlight is focused on the lens, and if you keep a paper underneath the lens, what happens? It burns, right? It catches, and it's incredible, isn't it? It's just the sun rays focused, and it generates fire just out of nothing. Of course, there's the air, but it's still the focus that makes it happen. And so here the power of focus is that when I focus my mind, which means my thoughts, my feelings, all of that to that one supreme energy, I'm absorbing that power, and it creates a sort of lightness in me, but at the same time, it empowers me. And the more I do this, the more I'm able to use it in everything. Make sense? And so this power of focus is key when I start to focus on myself and focus on the Supreme, the Source. Now think about what happens when my mind is in many different places, right? One moment here, one moment there, and whether it's the past, or whether it's I'm thinking what I have to do in the future or after this talk, the mind is going here, there, or it could be many different tasks, right? And so the energy of the mind is split. The energy of the mind is split. And so then I'm not able to give my full to any one thing, right? And so it's so important to use my mind in the right way so that I'm able to focus on one thing. And even if I say, take up one aspect in a day and say that I want to focus on this one thing, not just practicing, because maybe it's been a habit that's been for a very long time. And so to change it, even to take up one thing and say, okay, let me do this one particular task, no distractions, and I'm going to do this. Recently, some of our sisters went to a retreat, and it was called as a Seriously Silence Retreat. And basically, they were asked to hand over their phones and just enjoy the silence, basically, and meditate and all of that. So some of them was sharing these beautiful experiences, like how in today's world, especially, our minds are so, even us maybe without knowing, connected to our devices, right? And possibly that's one of the main reasons for our minds to have become so distracted. It's even said, like if you look at the generations over generations, you've got, before there was just the radio, that was still okay, and then came the television. I remember reading some excerpt from somewhere, and then it talked about an enemy coming into the house, and it turned out to be the television. Kind of split the family, and it talked all of that, and at the end of it we came to know the enemy was the television, meaning it just takes your mind and energy away in so many different ways. And today we have so many choices, like just open your cupboard and you have so many clothes to wear, which one to wear today. Just your mind is just going into so many things. And then you go to a shopping mall, just for one item, there are so many different types and brands. And I mean, the world is set up today for the mind to be completely distracted and the energy to be dissipated, isn't it? But this is when we start to understand the power of focus, and actually not just understand, but start to practice. Even little things, like if you want to just hold on to one virtue in your mind, maybe say sweetness or just peace, and just reflect on just that one thing. Because what happens, I've noticed, is that if you're not achieving success very quickly, you leave it. Is that true? You're kind of, okay, it's not going to work anyway. Just, especially internal things. I'm not able to focus. Yeah, okay, let's do something else. Distract myself with something. But that's the time when I actually need to say no. I want my mind to start to focus. It's not so much as forcing, but it is training. Training to think about something. We've had this in our school days and things. You write on a particular topic or you speak on a particular topic. You're not meant to do anything else, not distracted and see. And so just going back to that, going back to training my mind to focus on one thing. And the more I do that, the more I'll be able to feel in control. And so this aspect of, even though we have multitasking, a lot of distractions in today's world, it'll be helpful to start to pick little things and start to focus on them. Not just one thing, just one thing. And it's okay. The worst thing could be the devices, right? So a lot of discussion has been happened on that topic of devices and how addicted we are to it. And so making us a little bit not dependent on it, not carry it with you for certain things, or just leave it somewhere, just start to see. Otherwise, if I don't do these practical little things, I will never find out what my level of focus is. Right? We don't have those exercises today, do we? How do I know how much is my level of focus? When I sit to meditate, I can tell, right? Where my mind is going, how much it is there, because we've just let it go. And so we really don't know where I am with my power of focus. And so, and also definitely in terms of the physical, I completely agree with this, whatever was said in that book about keeping my body healthy. And the power of focus, the mind, of course, when the mind is enriched, the body is also enriched, but it's also the other way around. And so how I keep my body, if I'm going to eat late and, have different things which is not really nourishing for the body or the mind, am I able to focus? If I want to focus, I'll feel heavy, I will feel tired, isn't it? And so whatever is necessary in terms of physical also, that's a small aspect, but an important aspect to increase my power of focus. And so to organize, to discipline, but also to see little tasks that I can take and see how much my focus is. So I'd like to do some meditation experiments on focus, but before that, do you have any questions? Yeah.
One of the things you shared was when we are handling something very complicated, automatic. And I've had an experience at work this week. There's a talk on pensions, and I don't understand this topic at all. There's a 1 hour talk on different kinds of pensions and calculations, and I just, after 20 minutes, I just switched off. So I want to learn from you when you're dealing with something very complicated, or you feel it's complicated. Are there any tips of how to bring your focus back? Because I couldn't concentrate in the whole call.
Yeah. So if I, what takes my focus away is because I don't understand, right? That's the key thing in this particular situation. What I have done sometimes is if I know that I'm going into a call and I don't know anything about it, I read up something. Even if it's 10 minutes just before the call or just before just so A, I'm able to understand what's going on, and B, I'm able to give some input if necessary. And so it's nice to do a little bit of homework when I know that I'll be going into something which I have no clue about. If I know that I'll be able to understand, pick up on it, that's great. But if not, it's nice to do a little bit of reading, or so then when I go into it, then yeah. Or I mean, very simply to ask questions to understand is the most, sometimes you don't know what, and so you might end up, it's completely, maybe asking one or two questions, then would come back some level of understanding. Yes. So this power of focus is very key in our lives. And so I'd really suggest and recommend that the more we meditate and you actually put it into practice in your lives. Often it might be something that I have to do different to what others are doing. Right? Many people might not want this, and they might want not distraction. That's what we're used to. This kind of become the norm. But if I choose to say no, this is my priority, I'd like to do this, and it's okay, and because that is what is healthy for me, and I know that that is what will be healthy for what I'm doing and what I'm, even helping others with. And so it's okay to do something different. And also every single day to be able to practice this and to check my level of focus. And whether it's in something that I'm working on, or whether it's during meditation, but just to see and try and improve it. Many people have different little methods. People talk about, you walk in the park, you go in, watch and just be present. Because often the focus disappears because I've gone off into the past, or I'm thinking about what is to come. And many times that is the issue, then my focus is not in the present of what I'm doing, isn't it? And in the moment. So it is a very conscious practice, definitely. It's a conscious practice, and meditation definitely helps with that, because that's what we're doing. We're very much here, and we are creating our thoughts to be focusing on ourselves and the source. And so we are training the mind and creating the habit of staying in the present and connecting to something very pure and elevated. So everyday meditation practice definitely helps, but also take care of your mind during the day. Not to create any of those wasteful things, or just not absorbing negativity or being influenced by it. The more I do that, the more power I will have when I meditate. Or should I say, the more success I will have. Because otherwise I sit down for meditation, but the whole day I have let my mind, then what will happen when I sit down for meditation? Okay, we finished meditation and we don't know where we were, right? Meaning, not able to focus. And so let's experiment now and see if we can experience this. We have a good 15 minutes, and so just everything that you need to do will still be there when you go back. So for the next little while, you can just completely relax. You don't have to think about the past. Let the past be in the past. Wherever you are, those who are watching online also, just sit comfortably, relaxed but alert. And if you can, keep your eyes open. So what we're going to do this time is really create a few thoughts that will help me, my mind, to focus firstly on myself. So if you discover at some point that your mind has wandered off, no problem. Just bring it back. As soon as you realize that your mind has gone somewhere else, just say, okay, back. So first of all, let's start with totally relaxing the body so that my mind is not pulled towards this body. So just check the whole body from the feet till the head. Everything is completely relaxed. And if you sense any stored tension, just gently let go of it. Wiggle your toes, your feet, your legs. Let go of any tension. Your stomach. Take a deep breath in and out. Your chest is light. Your back, any tension. Shoulders. If you have any burdens for the time being, just let them down. Let your shoulders be light. Not carrying anything, just very light. Your neck, the face, the back of the head. With a little smile on my face, the whole body is relaxed. And in this state, I allow myself to go on an inner journey, a journey to meet myself. And for this, I bring my attention to the center of my forehead. And on the screen of my mind, I visualize a tiny spark of light, like a tiny diamond, like a tiny shining star, like how you would visualize anything, any object. Just visualize this tiny spark of light, a point of bright light. If you find your mind wandering away, just gently bring it back. And now I focus on this tiny point of light. And as I focus on this point of light, I gently become aware that this is my true form. I am a point of light. I am a sparkling star. As I focus even more on this form of light that I am, I can go deeper and experience peace. I am a being of peace. My focus is totally on my form of light. I simply radiate peaceful rays. And in this focus, I can feel I'm the master of my own self. Thoughts, feelings, intentions. And in this state of peace, I come into the presence of the supreme light, the source of goodness, the ocean of peace, love, and joy. And now my focus is totally on the supreme light, a point of light like me, and yet the ocean. I feel totally embraced by the unconditional rays of love and peace from this supreme being. And as my mind focuses on this supreme light, I absorb rays of peace, love, truth totally within me. And the supreme light is so powerful that it finishes any darkness that may remain inside of me. So I enjoy this eternal connection with the supreme light. As I come back to focus on myself, being of light, I gently become aware of this body. And this focus on myself and the supreme in my words and actions. Every word I speak is meaningful with purpose, and every action I perform is filled with benevolence and brings benefit to the self and others. Om Shanti.
Thank you. To come into sound after such a powerful meditation, and very apt with the theme that we were listening to, how to focus. Just want to share a couple of points that really touched. Is, how when you start your day, really ask yourself, what would you like your day to be? Prepare and have the flexibility. Like Rick was sharing that there are times when you can't do the things that you plan to do. Let there be flexibility, but at least there is some sort of idea. How would you like your day to be? And so early morning, focusing on how I'm going to feel, what am I going to do? It's very important. Thank you. And I just like to highlight a few things as we are coming close to the end of the month. In fact, tomorrow we are into October. So lots of things happening beginning of the month. So as you're aware that every Mondays and Thursdays we have online meditations as well as in-house, 7 to 7:30. That's collective meditation. But obviously you're welcome to drop in for the quiet room anytime that we are open, generally from 10 onwards. Most days till 5, but Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays we are here till this kind of time, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And then every Sunday, so we are not here open in person, but Sunday 10 to 10:45 we have online meditation. And every week we have a different theme, different speaker. So do tune in and keep in touch. Right? So you don't have to miss in his face not coming on a Sunday. And this Saturday coming, we have the in-house workshop seminar That's on building the self-esteem. That's from 2 to 4. And it's a standalone event. I mean, just one session. And then next Monday onwards, 6th to the 12th, we have our fast track meditation course. And this time it's 6 a.m. in the morning. So 1 month we do 6 a.m. in the morning. Another month we do at 6 p.m. So this month we had at 6 p.m. So this is at 6 a.m. And you might be wondering, do people come? You'll be surprised. People love to do these things before they go to work. So it's quite popular at 6 a.m. So it'll be Mondays to Sundays. That's a fast track course. And also we're offering this Monday coming onwards, 6th October, 6 to 7:30 p.m., Mondays and Thursdays. And this is just in person. So that's online. This will be in person Monday evening and Thursday evening. So 6th of October. And next Tuesday, our theme is going to be quite different. First time I'm hearing this in terms of us taking something like this. Coins to consciousness. And what is this about? Like how you have your piggy bank and you kind of accumulate coins. And suddenly you have so many, you can buy a gift and, surprise somebody. So just like Sister was sharing that how we really need to focus on our meditation and our consciousness. So we're going to have Sister Masana talking about coins to consciousness. Okay. Safe journey home. And product of the week, instead of a book, we thought about 8 powers, the power to focus. So you're welcome to browse in our shop. And there is various other cards as well. So you can pick one a day, share with your colleagues, your family, friends. So do look into the shop before going. Thank you. Safe journey home.